how beautiful is this? This is where we've just woken up. We've been camping in our van just up the road. So I've got about 5 minutes before I head up to the studio, which is about just a 10-minute walk up the road. What a place to have a Pilates studio. I'm so envious already. I'm feeling good this morning. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm going into it as usual with a little bit of trepidation, like a touch of nerves, and so much enthusiasm. I'm really keen to learn about Romana and the ways that her techniques and her flavors have been taught. It's so exciting to speak to someone and move with someone, being taught with someone who's so close to source, who's so close, like, you know, one step away from Joseph Pilates himself. It's fantastic. It's same as last time. Okay, so this is the second visit I've done, and I've got 100% record of doing this intense one-on-one private Pilates session with someone on the first day of my period. Oh my goodness, timing. But I feel good. I feel fine. I'm gonna pack up now. I'm gonna enjoy this view for about 30 seconds, have a little meditate, and then I'm gonna pack up and I'm gonna head up the road and find the studio. So I'll see you there.
So because Fera was so exceptional at talking, explaining things throughout our session, what I'm going to do for you here is just kind of show you some of the raw footage of our private session together. Enjoy.
So this is one of Grotz's archivals. So Grotz didn't do a lot of changes to the apparatus design from when he worked with Joe through Romana. But they made a couple of tweaks along the way in the 90s. So this machine was kind of going back to what they did in the 90s, a little less padding. The machines in the late 90s had a bit more padding, which is why I like it. There's a slight difference in terms of where this is set up, but it's very minor. And it's an 80-inch, which means it's the original height. The 86 inches were added to allow for the jump board, which is something that Romana really likes to use.
Okay.
So the jump board at the end, you need a little bit more depth. So a lot of your strap exercises are designed for this ace, the angle of the strap. So it might feel a bit different with some of the things, like and just see how that feels.
We used to have, the risers and
the height up here. So the risers are really, the risers were added. They're contemporary design. Joe wanted the angle for anything that had the straps to be down here. The risers were added to appropriate these exercises to the reformer.
Got it.
Which, again, the springs are here, they're not down there, so it's a very different thing. Also, when you have the risers higher, you're still pulling a carriage out, so your springs are still through straps, and it has a very different feeling than what you do on the Cadillac. So you'll find a lot of the changes that were made to reformer exercises were done because they didn't want to have a full studio. They wanted to try to make it.
Trying to get it all in one.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. It's a very different thing. So you like your leg circles and frogs here, very different from your leg circles and frogs. They're very different purposes and different feel. So everything else is pretty much the usual. It's 4 sets of wheels on a Grotz that roll in and out. It's 4 even springs, and it's the foot bar. So with the spring settings here, again, the concept with the springs and Pilates is that they help you find your space and they help you find your muscles. So with Pilates, originally, he started doing mat work. That's where his original system came from. Realized people weren't moving well, developed his apparatus, and the mat work really became homework or where you went afterwards. So if you want to think about the ultimate workout in terms of control and being able to move, is to be able to do the exercises you do here without the springs. So therefore, tensioning becomes less relevant. We're not doing it to build resistance like weight. I know that's the current trend with reformers, is to put weight onto it and to use the springs as weight training tools. It's really the opposite to that. So when you start to look at spring tension, it really is about what the springs were for the exercises and what the body needs. So again, more petite body has a different spring setting than a guy who's 6'4". So
there's so much science in kind of geometrics and length.
Yeah, and that was all something that, it always boggles my mind to go like, but modern science has changed. I'm like, well, modern science hasn't changed physics. Physics has existed for millennia, and bodies evolved over millennia. So how you move now is a bit differently how your grandmother moved because you use a cell phone. And that just means we work that imbalance, How you move hasn't changed in millennia. So the science that is evolved doesn't change that movement, and we are professionals of watching movement, not of spouting Latin words for body parts.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. So come on, have a seat and lie down. I'm not going to talk to you too much. You need to move. So have a seat and lie down for me.
Okay.
And just enjoy. Yes. This is my lockdown baby.
Oh, really?
I've been wanting her for a long time. I have my other performer is hired. There's a whole story behind it for another time, but she's actually on loan right now in the north. So this is my current one. This is in the north. So this is my new baby.
She's on tour.
So take a moment and just relax and just enjoy. Come into your body and feel the back of your head on the mat evenly. Take a nice breath in. Clear any tension in your body. Relax down. Hope slept well by the beach. It's beautiful down there. Take another breath in for me. Open your eyes. Use your eyes as part of your bag. Feel the backs of your arms and your palms. Exhale and feel that little relax in your spine. Yeah, relax a little bit more. So breathe, breathe. Yeah, and relax. Now, I want you to breathe down into your tailbone. Inhale, relax your sit bones down. Yes, and now as you exhale, lift. So that little, don't touch your pelvis. Don't work your bones, just leave your bones. Take a breath in and feel the breath goes into here, all the way to here, all the way down, and then let, there. So I get that lower pulse. I know it's something we're going to try not to poke on it today, but just try to relax all that tension that's going on in your body that's having a little party right now. Doesn't really want you to move, so I just want you to feel like you can anchor more of the base of your powerhouse here and here. So we're more just getting a stretch out of where it is because it's really tight in there today, okay? So feel that just nice and long. Feel the bar underneath your feet. These bars are taking the hands off. So if it feels too rough on your foot, if it's too hard, I can pad you. Don't suffer through it, okay? Because it's not, that's not the point. Lift the heels just a little bit so you feel the underside of your foot. Rotate, just yes, you're not hitting the outside of the hip. But relax down, don't grip in here, just relax that. Just press that for me. And stretch all the way up your footwork. Good, and bend your knees all the way in. Now this time, keep your heels together. And feel that centering of your body as you go out and pause, and lift and come back in. Now, rather than think about pushing out from your quads, think about lifting through the back line of your legs and lift that spine up the carriage. Just lift your spine, that's it, and bend your knees up. Good. And again, lift and just stretch, center the legs, relax, there. And keep as you come in, it works on the in. And again, lift. Now feel that length of the back legs, not here, in the backs of the legs lifting. Now feel the backs of your legs lifting your bum forward. That's the work. Good.
Hey, it's me. So I'm just going to let the video roll as I just give you a little bit of my thoughts and feedback. So because I'm rubbish and busy and blah, 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 I'm editing this actually, what's 2 or 3 weeks later than this now. So it's really interesting to watch it back. What's amazing here is we're doing the simplest thing, right? Just some pushing of that carriage out and in, just some simple footwork to get us going. But look how hands-on Fera is. Look how much he's cueing me verbally. Look how much he's trying to get me to feel what's going on. This is unlike any kind of footwork I've ever done before. Throughout this whole session, my general kind of vibe was, it feels like I've never done this before, okay? I've got many years of Pilates under my belt, and I had this session with Fera, and I was like, I feel like a complete beginner, but in the best way, It was so interesting to me, and I really enjoyed feeling challenged and feeling like Fera was opening up a whole nother kind of part of my awareness and my mind to kind of how we interact with this apparatus, how we interact with these movements. Really interesting stuff. Look how detailed we're being about just a simple push. This kind of continued throughout the whole session. So what I'll do now is I'll leave this little footwork session and I'll move on and I'll show you how she used the basis. Like this is the foundation, working through the feet, that little pull up the back of the legs she was trying to get me to do. Let your hips relax, let your quads kind of not take over, trying to get me to kind of feel this engagement, this interaction in different parts of my body. And I just want to show you how that then translates to some of the things we did later on. Check it out.
So have a seat here.
Facing the foot bar.
Yeah, facing the foot bar, and then swing your legs to the bottom. And good. So if you think about it, you were lying down, you had a little bit of a squat, now then you had a bigger squat. Now we're going to go into the full range motion of the hip. Cool. Yes? Okay. That's what the stomach massages is. You're rolling like a ball on the mat. You're going to come a tiny bit to the left, so you're in the center. There you go. And I want you to think about that sitting up nice and tall, and then we're going to start with that C-curve position. So I want you to think about the stomach scooping, because your legs are going to be coming up quite high. Just tilt back in the hip bones. But now don't sink in your back, lift your spine up, Round your spine from your upper stomach and hold on here. So remember that C curve is a nice lifted capital Cookie Monster C. There we go. And then take your feet up onto the bar. And now we're going to work that full range of the hips. So we're working from that starting point of your hips. We don't spend our days squatting anymore, but we were kind of designed to. This is where I really laugh when people say, why don't we use modern science and Pilates? I'm like, why don't you squat more often than you're designed to do?
Yeah.
If you use the original body terms, then we can talk about using your modern science. I spend a lot of time with physios, I like to injure myself, and there's never anything modern science has said to me that I'm like, oh my god, that's revolutionary, that changes how I look at movement. Yeah. So whatever. Now, lift those feet up a little bit, that's it. Feel the balls of your feet, and feel that scoop the stomach. Now remember in the footwork, you weren't pushing through your knees. You're feeling those sit bones, so feel that tummy lift off gravity now, up your spine in that C-curve, and squeeze those heels and lift the back of your legs to go out. Lifting that stomach, stretching that center line, and bend your knees up and come back in. Remember to maintain the work as you come in. And again, nothing here. Lift the heels and lift the back of your legs. To go back, keep lifting your heels, keep lifting the back of your legs. Don't push in those quads. Lift, yes, there, look at the difference. And then lift and come back in. And again, lift and go out. Hold that stomach lifting up, try to stretch out of that lower back. That's it. And bend. Feel the back of the arms as you press your hands into the bar so you feel that upper back is supporting you. 2 more. Lift and stretch out. And lift and come in. And 1 more. Not going to where your knees lock. Go to where your legs can extend fully. Open up the front of your hips. Open up the front of your hips. Pull that tummy back. That's it. There. And lift and come back. Now a challenge. Lift and press out. Hold the back of the legs here. And now curl your feet without changing the legs. Yes. Beautiful. And lift. And hold that lift and bend your knees and come back in. Don't work here. Lift. Lift. There you go. Good. Good. Very good.
We continued this kind of seated section. Vera guided me through a few different positions here, hands back on the shoulder pads. Here we are doing a slightly more uplifted and my favourite, a little bit of rotation of it, spine rotation. The themes continued, lots of hands-on, lots of detailed explanations, really, really clear verbal cues, and just so much precision and kind of different ways of using my body that I'm used to. Okay, it continued. I was like, what am I doing? It's like I've never done it before. Really, really cool. Love this bit. What I want to show you next, just because I'm conscious that you probably don't want to watch like a full, look at that go, cool, come on, reach Sarah. Probably not super duper interesting to watch just a full unedited session. So a little bit of feedback here, a little bit of explanation about what we're doing, and then I'm just going to whiz forward and I'm going to show you some stuff we did up on the box, a little bit of tree prep. Here we go, let's get ready.
So nice and tall, make sure you have enough space behind you. Find that nice feeling now. With this, you're really lifting the leg up. So really find, like we did on the stomach massage, a little bit more scoop in here. So there, that's it. Because then you can bring your hands under the leg. Now before you lift your leg, go back down. Hands here. Lift that stomach. Now press the foot down. Press the right foot down and feel your bottom. So when you lift up, lift from that belly button just like you do the stomach massage and lift that leg up. No, that was okay. So find your stomach. Press your foot, little push down and feel your bum. Now feel your thighs together and now lift your knee, leg, rotate your hip. There. And look how high it gets. Now lift the foot up, limber, and bend. Now again, don't lift from your dancer here. Push into my head. And lift from the top of your quad. Look. Oh, yeah, good. And feels different, yeah? Good. And now your hips don't do something weird. Yeah. Do 1 more and lift that leg up. And now turn the heel in slightly and feel my hand. Remember the foot bar, left shin. And feel that reach that's in the foot bar from your sit bone. There. So this leg is reaching forward from that sit bone. Walk your arms up beautifully. Yes, now lift your spine, lift your leg. Hold that, feel that nice lift your spine. And then round your head over and find that nice lifted C-curve. Yes, you can go all the way to your ankle. No, don't pull your leg to you. Go all the way to your ankle with your arms. There, now check. Have you sunk it all? There, yes? And round right in. Oh, don't lock in here. Now remember the work is in that left leg. So flex that left foot. There's no strap and that's fine. You just have 2 legs in it. But that's going to catch you when you go back. Now lift in the tummy and rotate in that left hip. Don't sink your spine. Hold your spine lifted. Use your tummy to rotate in that left hip. Not so hard. This is your right hip and come back forward. So keep this reaching. Look at your stomach. Pull in here to rotate in this hip. Don't sink down. Just keep lifting the stomach up as you pull in. We never push down. There. Rotate back. Rotate back. You have to rotate in your hip until you have a tall tree.
Okay, I know you can't really super duper see what's going on here because of the angle of what's going on. But how interesting to hear Fera's verbal cues there, right? Let me flip around so you can see what's going on the other side.
Stomach pulling in, yeah, feel that grounding, and then hands under the leg. Feel nice and tall, feel the books on your head. I'm so old school. School. And then lift that leg up from your sit bone. No, just bend it up, rotate the bum. There. And then lift that foot up. Hold that, lift the stomach, and bend. Good. And nothing in here. Feel that sit bone and lift your foot up from your sit bone. Good. Then bend. And one more. Make sure you're not holding the tiny bits in the back of the knee. You're on your calf. There you go. And then feel that lift. Feel that feeling there. So you gotta move this hip all the way forward. Now you're on your sit bone. Yes. Yeah. Walk up to your ankle. This is because you have your dancer. This is beautiful. Yes, because you have that range. Lift. There you go. Now hold that. Now see again, this is once a hold. So I want you to find your sit bones where your inner thighs meet. That's where you're pulling your tummy in from. Do you feel the difference? I've grounded this down. There. Now round your head and shoulder over. Rounding over. Yes, you have to really feel that stretch of your spine. Yes, now the spine stays lifted. And you rotate back in your right hip. So all the movement's happening in that right leg. Yes, you have to pull that hip bone back and roll back. Rotate through your right bottom. It feels very strange.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with that.
Move this backwards. There. And then you can walk down your leg by pulling your tummy muscles in and moving your spine. So this is your powerhouse. This is what moves you. So to stretch down the way. Feel, relax that knee a little bit. And feel the lower back melt down onto the box. There you go. Now hold that and start from the top of your spine. Stretch your arms up. Curl your head in and find your upper tummy to lift you back up that leg. Lead your sit bone here, so soften this knee a little bit. And work more from that inner thigh. There you go. So you notice you soften your knee and your knee didn't actually change. You just stopped gripping in your quad and gripping in your hip. And then round over one more time. Feel those inner thighs reaching forward. Feel the spine going over. Yes, there you have the range. But now your hands can be here. Now we used to actually grab all the way up here. I'm not going to do that for you because it's quite advanced, but I want you to think about the fact that you're stretching your spine forward and really getting that C curve. And then you have to lift in that tummy and rotate back in that right hip. Think about your sit bone on the right side going to your heel. Bend your right knee. Yeah, bend your right knee and use your box of muscles. So pinch your underbum. Yeah, pinch your underbum and rotate your foot muscles. Yeah, there, because you're not letting go of the hip. It's okay. And then there, and then walk down. Tummy muscles in. It's the first time you've done things this way. Tummy muscles, it's almost like the first time, you know? Yeah. And hold that now. Hold that stomach holding you. Stretch your arms up your leg. Curl your head and find your upper tummy. Beautiful. Nice little shaky. Yeah. And lift up nice and tall. Lift your spine up. Soften that knee a little bit. And really feel that you're lifting your tummy in and up from those inner thighs. Stretch your spine even taller. Lift your collarbones. Lift. Beautiful. And rest. Really nice. And step off.
Thank you.
Step off. We're going to do a couple more. We have to finish.
Not me backing away from the reformer like, whoa, that's enough. How interesting was that? Following this 55-minute private one-to-one movement session with Fera, we sat down, as you can see here, and we had one of the best talks ever. Like, oh my God, I could have sat with this amazing woman and spoken to her all day long. I wanted to. Sadly for us, sadly for me, we both had other things to go and do. But there is a full, about 40, maybe even 45-minute conversation, which I've uploaded as a completely separate video. I'll send a link or I'll pop a link somewhere obvious under this. If you're interested in watching that chat, please head on over and check it out. Personally, I find it absolutely fascinating. If you've got any interest at all in Pilates, specifically classical Pilates, I urge you to watch this. If that kind of little insight into our private session has any interest to you, you'll love this conversation. Really candid, really friendly, really warm. Lots of personal stories from Fera's background. I anticipated going into this that we'd be speaking a little bit more about Romana in that link. It turned out a little bit more kind of part story time about Fera's background and about kind of how close to source she was training in Drago's gym and meeting Romana and that kind of stuff, and her journey into Pilates. Amazing. All of that stuff then contextualized a really gorgeous, interesting conversation about, essentially about classical Pilates, about the kind of phenomenon of what's happening at the moment with this boom in popularity of Pilates, and her opinions on that. We chatted about it quite candidly, quite naturally, and a really insightful topic of conversation about I'm butchering this this explanation, but essentially about classical Pilates, contemporary Pilates, the differences, the benefits, the the whatever. It was awesome. So please check it out. Thanks so much for sticking around. A huge thanks again to Fera. This was phenomenal. It really inspired me. It really changed my opinion about lots of things. It's inspired me to dig deeper and deeper into the history, into the origins, into the world of classical. That's not to say I'm going to ditch completely my dancer-esque contemporary fitness style of Pilates. I sit somewhere in the middle, fascinated by it all, as I'm sure many other people are. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Fera, and I'm excited to continue my journey exploring Pilates and see where it takes me in the future. Ciao, ciao.